to stay.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Boards, a podcast dedicated to the actions and interests of skaters beyond skateboarding. My guest today is a talented skateboarder and photographer from Sweden. Sarah Meurle grew up right next to Malmö and was one of the very first students to attend Bryggeriets Gymnasium when it opened its doors in 2006. Since then, she has traveled all around the globe to skate and shoot photos with the help of her sponsors. After spending a few years in Gothenburg to study photography, Sarah recently moved back to Malmö and started skating with the Weekend Crew, among other exciting projects. So here's my conversation with Sarah Meurle. I hope you'll enjoy it.
So the rapture never ends.
Again, thank you for chatting with me for a little bit. I won't take too much of your time, but yeah, I'm a big fan, obviously, and I'm super stoked also to speak with a former student of Bryggeriets. I had John on the show a few months ago, and then I had Danielle Stankovic, and
nice, yeah, I heard their interviews.
Oh, cool, awesome. Yeah, I had a lot of fun talking with them, and I was super stoked to have someone else from that whole Malmö area. So thanks again. So usually I start these conversations just by the guest, introducing himself or herself. So yeah, if you can just tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how you started skating. And I know that you went to Bryggeriets and you were among the very first students, I think, to attend the high school. So, but take me a little bit behind the scenes and how you found a skateboard before that, maybe.
Yeah, like further back. Yeah, I'm born outside of Malmö, like 30 minutes away, basically maybe actually 40 minutes away by car. It's called Blentarp. It's a tiny village and my parents lived outside of that village. Mm-hmm. But I was very active, like I was playing soccer, I was playing tennis, I was doing all these things. And I had two older brothers that I really looked up to. And I think I naturally, when I saw skateboarding at my school where I was going to when I was around 12, 13, I found that very intriguing. And I was like, I really wanted to try it. But I was at the same time a little bit like, didn't really know which way to go at it and like who to ask or who to skate with. It was a bit scary, but...
Did your brothers skate at that time or...?
No, it was like one of them's 5 years older and one of them is 9 years older.
Oh, okay.
And so skating was more through my school, like where I went to school.
Okay.
And that was just some guys in my class and like the 1 year older. So that was from them more. And I asked a friend of mine from my class, like another girl, if she wanted to start. And she kind of like secretly had the same idea as me, but then we started talking about it. And we got these like really cheap boards from, like the local sports store.
Oh,
no,
not
skate shop.
Not even a skate shop yet. Yeah, right. Okay.
20 euros kind of thing. Like, set up.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I got really hooked. And this was, like when I was 12, 13.
Okay.
And I became kind of obsessed with it. And we started skating with these guys that were in my school. Mm-hmm. And then eventually she stopped, like after maybe 6 months or something. And then I continued. And we had this little crew who would go from our small town to Malmö to skate.
Right.
So we would go to the indoor skate park in the winters and...
The Bryggeriets skate park?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I started going there already, like at 13.
Started hanging out around there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like skating. And then I think like when I had been skating for like a year or so, I remember I was at the skate shop, Street Lab, the local one in Malmö. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Daniel was working there.
Yeah, I remember he told me about that skate shop, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, one day I came in there and he was like, Sarah, because he'd seen me skating at the skate park, I guess. And he was like, we want to sponsor you. We want to give you like a B sponsorship. And so I got hooked up by them when I was 14.
Awesome.
Which was really nice.
Yeah, especially 2 years after you started, right? So that's super early.
Yeah, even like 1 year or something, I don't even know.
Damn. Yeah, that's
very
great.
Early, and it felt like very welcoming. Also, since I was like from out of town, that kind of made me feel more welcome in Malmö.
Sure, yeah. Were there a lot of girls skating around that whole crew, basically, or was it mostly boys?
Like the crew that I had first from my small town, it was just me that was the girl.
Okay.
Just boys. But then, and that was the crew that I was most comfortable with. Like those were my friends who I was always skating with.
Mm-hmm.
But then they used to have, already back then, like they had girls' skate nights on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at first I was like scared to go to them because I didn't know anyone there. And I went on the regular days because that's when my other friends would go.
Okay.
Like I would go on the Saturdays because that's when my friends from back home went.
Yeah. I see.
But then I started going there on Mondays too, and then I found some female skater friends there, and it was really like small back then, like few people, maybe 10 per session or so.
Mm-hmm.
And some were not really skating, just more there for the social aspect of it, which is cool too.
Sure.
But I remember I would go there, but it wasn't like it was a really nice space to go, and you had the whole it felt like you had the whole course to yourself, kind of.
Yeah.
And then Bryggeriets is so nice because you have this cafe upstairs where you can go and chat and have coffee. But that's basically how that would be in the winter times we would skate there, and then in the summer times we would skate all these small cities around where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
Take the bus to another small town and skate all the street spots we could find around, and made little videos with our crew. And I also actually had this because I'm from a house that's it's in the country, so it's almost like a farmhouse, but there's no animals.
Okay.
So it's a dirt road leading up to it, and
can't really skate on that, I guess. Yeah.
No. So one day, me and my friend, we basically emptied out the attic, or put everything in the attic, like to the sides.
Oh yeah, so you could have some flat ground.
Yeah, and my dad didn't even know, but we just cleared it out.
Okay.
And then when he came home, he was like, "What have you done?
What the hell is going on?"
And I said, "Well, it's not being used anyway. Like we can do this." And then eventually he started helping me with it, and we built a little quarter pipe that I would skate up there.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So I would be there in the evenings, just trying to learn kickflips and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. And so you mentioned the skate shop that sponsored you was that your very first sponsor?
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw that you wrote for this company. I wrote down the name. I had heard of it, but I hadn't seen the name in a long time. It's called Bellows. Is that
Bellows? Yeah.
Bellows. Yeah. Was that one of your first sponsors as well?
Yeah, it was actually my second board sponsor. First I was sponsored by, kind of through the skate shop, I got sponsored by Etnies and also this company called River Farm. It feels like almost all the Swedish skaters have at some point been on River Farm.
Okay.
At least a lot of people that I know have gone through there.
Okay.
And they stopped doing boards quite a long time ago.
It was a board brand, a Swedish board brand, or?
Yeah, it's called River Farm Skateboards.
Okay. I've never heard of it. Okay.
For example, when I was 16, me and Philip, who's also on Weekend Skateboards now, Philip Almquist, he was also on River Farm. He was 14 and I was 16 or something.
Okay.
So it's been a long time. But yeah, it was River Farm. And then I think around when I was 17, I started skating for Bellows Skateboards.
Okay.
And also switched over to Vans.
Okay, Vans was before, and then you went to Nike, right? Eventually, or was that a bit later, maybe?
I was way later, but I think I skated for. I'm 32 now, so I think I skated for Vans until I was 25ish. Yeah.
I thought you had been skating for Nike for 10 years or something. But it's been 7 years, something like that.
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah, so it's almost.
Yeah, it's it's a decent amount of time.
Yeah. But yeah, I was Bellows is a Stockholm-based company.
Right. Yeah.
And it was during the time that I went to the high school as well. I obviously went there from when I was 16 till 19.
And actually, to bring it to Bryggeriets, how did you hear about the program, and how did you get into the program, basically?
Yeah, I remember we had this days at school when you were talking about where do you want to go to high school, and you had these chats with like some kind of advisor from another school trying to lead you in the right path. But I already knew about Bryggeriet because I was there every Saturday or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And for me, I thought about other schools too, but it was pretty obvious. Also that they opened the same year that I was supposed to start high school. It just felt like...
Yeah, stars aligned.
Yeah. And also that I'm kind of... When you're from where I was from, you either go to Lund, Ystad, or Malmö. And Ystad is, to me, Ystad, it's further south. It's kind of like... It's a bigger city, but it's still pretty small.
Okay.
And I was like, I really don't want to go to Ystad. There's nothing exciting in Ystad. And Malmö felt like the big city, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, that was way more exciting. But I also was really into skateboarding, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And so how did you apply for did you have to go skate in front of people or something? What was the process to get enrolled, basically?
Well, since it was the first year they opened it, it was pretty new. There was not a lot of like... I think I'd been studying like really hard to get into like a good school or whatever I needed.
Yeah.
Good grades to get into. But then when I applied for Bryggeriet, it was like, oh, it's actually really easy to come in because it's so recently opened.
Yeah, okay.
And there was no... I still don't think they do like auditions like that. I think you can come to the school and like try and skate it, but you're not gonna get in like based on how good you're at skating.
Yeah, it's not just about that, of course. Yeah.
No, I think it's more about your grades nowadays too. I think they have to follow that system too.
Yeah. And how did your parents react to this desire to go there? Because since it was a brand new program, and especially a skateboarding high school, which was, I guess, unheard of. I don't think it existed pretty much before that anywhere. So were your parents like supportive, or were they kind of reluctant? What was their reaction, basically?
No, they were actually really supportive. I think in that kind of way, they're pretty open-minded, and they let me be who I wanted to be, kind of
awesome.
thing. And supported me, like, you know, drove me if I needed to go skate, or they tried their best, you know, for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, awesome. So how did you enjoy those 3 years at Bryggeriets? How was it? What memories do you keep from your time there? And what would you say was, what were some of the things that you really learned from going through there?
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of people have asked me, like, did you learn skating at school? And that's obviously not, because I was skating already for like 3 years before I went there. But I definitely had a lot of time to skate, and we were always at the skate park because the classrooms are located right next to the skate
right
park.
Next to it, right, yeah.
So you could definitely, like, you could have lunch and go skate, and then you could skate a little bit after school. You had like a lot of time
to practice,
to skate. But it was also really important to have John as the teacher, because, I mean, he was a mentor back then, but he still is, and for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He has had a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really good to have him. But also that they kind of understood my situation a bit, because I started traveling for skating already then. And they kind of had the way of thinking that as long as you can kind of pass your grades, like, it's okay, like, you don't have to be here that much.
Yeah.
Because I started going like a lot to Barcelona to skate and to film. And I went on some different trips with Vans, and then I also kind of, in a way, maybe I used the system a bit, because I don't think I could ever get that much time off to go. If I would have been going to another school, I don't think I would have been allowed to do what I did, kind of.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, for sure.
For example, we were also studying media, so it was photography or film.
Okay.
And I studied photography, and I also remember having like an internship of photography, because we did internships at school.
Okay, already.
And I was
wow.
like, I'm going to do my internship in Barcelona with my friend who's a photographer there. And we also had a holiday in combination. So I stayed there for like 6 weeks or something. And I skated. And we took some photos, but it was like also a lot of like just to skate, you know?
Right.
But I think for everyone, like that age, like 16, 17, 18, it's such a difficult age. I don't think I mean, there's so much going on in your life that being at school, it's always like you kind of just want to get through it.
Of course,
age.
Absolutely.
And that was definitely a feeling I had too. But it was the best situation I could be in for what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that when I interviewed John, because I went to a regular high school and I absolutely hated it. It was awful. It was just a long, boring process, basically. But yeah, I guess having skateboarding in the middle of it and probably made it much easier and gave you something to look forward to and make it more acceptable to have to study maths or whatever else you needed to learn about. No, it's rad that you got to go there and especially be one of the very first students. It must have been quite an interesting experience.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think that much of it then. I mean, I didn't really know what it was going to become of it neither. I remember it was special because we were very few students in the beginning, because it was year one. It was only maybe 50 students in total then, like 2 classes.
Right, okay.
Or maybe even 25, I can't remember, but there was a few people at the school, and then the second year, the first year and the second year came, so it was double all of a sudden. Then that was quite special, I guess. We had a lot of space.
And like dedicated teachers, basically. People, they could really take care of you. Yeah, you mentioned photography. Were your interest for photography, did it start at Bryggeriets, or did that start a bit earlier perhaps? Or
yeah, I think basically you can say it started there. I think I had cameras before that, like snapshot cameras, but that everyone kind of had that just for memories and you know. But then at the school we started, we had classes, and I remember also buying a digital camera and like going out with an intention to shoot something that was new to me for sure.
Right. Okay.
And I definitely think it sparked something in me that I just took with me from there, and then it's just followed with me ever since, but in different ways. I think I've used photography in really different ways throughout this time.
Yeah. So when that interest started, did you shoot skateboarding a little bit? Or because I think that, at least from the work that I've seen that you've done, I don't feel like skateboarding is at the center of it. It seems like you're like playing with light a lot and doing stuff with abstract and different components, but it doesn't seem like you're shooting skateboarding in a kind of academic way. What did you like to shoot basically when you first started shooting photos?
Yeah, for sure. It was never really... I think we had some skate classes, or we tried out shooting skate photos of our friends in school for sure. Mm-hmm. But then I think, I guess it didn't really attract me that much. And then I felt when I started traveling, I started just taking more photos of capturing things that I saw outside of the actual action shots of skating. And initially... also just for keeping memories for sure, but then you become interested in all these different aspects of photography with the light and how you can tell a story, and also the abstract ways. That came a little later, I think, but also one thing that I've had a lot with skating is that I've been on skate trips. Like, let's say I was on a skate trip with a brand. There was always another photographer there that was shooting the skate photos. And I never wanted to, step on their toes or anything. Of course. So I was like, I'll just... And also it's hard to do both. Like, you kind of need to focus on skating. Sure. If you're trying to do that. So I was kind of always looking for what was outside of that. And that evolved through that, I think. But now, lately, I've been... And also sometimes I realized, if I'm actually focusing on going out and shooting a skate photo, it's actually really fun. Yeah. And now, in a way, it's interesting because it's just about expanding something Like, now I can learn it in a new way, kind of. So I'm trying to learn it more now. Mm-hmm. But okay. I wasn't that interested in when I was 17. In the beginning, I understand. To go back to sponsors just for a little bit, so you skated for Bellows, and then did you turn pro for them? Did that happen later? I'm not sure exactly at what point and for which company you turned pro. Yeah, I skated for Bellows. They're like a Stockholm-based company. They were. Mm-hmm. So I was a lot skating there, and we mainly did filming in Sweden. Mm-hmm. I don't think we ever went anywhere else, but yeah, I turned pro for them. I think when I was 19, maybe after I finished high school, something around that time. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I think they made me 2 boards, but one of them was like this sunflower board.
Okay.
It's like a painting of a sunflower that Love Eneroth did it. He was on the team.
Okay, yeah. Did he used to skate for Antilles maybe, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's what I thought, yeah.
So it's like a French connection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a really good experience, but then it kind of faded out the way, like with the brand. I think it was really heavy on the team losing. There was a guy on the team called Johan Florell.
Okay.
And he committed suicide, actually.
Oh, damn. Okay.
That affected everyone.
Oh,
That were really close to him, of course, and also affected the team heavily.
Yeah.
And then after that, I could feel things kind of faded, and eventually a lot of us kind of start doing other things or quit.
Yeah.
Not only because of that, I don't think, but definitely there was a shift somewhere.
I see. And so where did you land after that? Which companies were you writing after that? Because I think you went to Poetic Collective for a little bit after that, but there were probably some other brands in between.
I think I quit Bellows, and then I think I was without a board sponsor for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also kind of injured. Like I always, throughout my whole skateboarding life, I've had issues with my right foot, my ankle. And this one was, I was quite heavily
damaged, or
like hurt, from this one.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had like half a year there where I didn't really skate much. But then I was on a trip, I went to like Australia with some friends in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back from there, this other Swedish company called Kaleidoscope, they asked me if I wanted to get some boards. And first I was a bit hesitant, but a lot of my friends were on that team, like friends from Malmö.
Mm-hmm.
And I said yes, and then I guess I didn't really feel like it was right for me. And then, like, really quickly, they actually made a pro board. I feel like I didn't really even know that was happening.
Oh, okay.
So I had a board with them, but then I quit it because I wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
And at the same time, I also had my friends starting a Poetic Collective.
Right, yeah.
Also, even like some of my friends had already left Kaleidoscope before that too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was this whole mess.
It was
I felt
bound
like
to happen, yeah.
I was a bit lost there, and then it's like, well, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah, it felt more natural to go over there.
And that was really fun. It felt like a lot of my like old friends, not a lot of them, but like 3 of them at least, that were skating for them too since the beginning. And I guess I jumped on it almost a year after they initially had started making boards, maybe something like that. But it wasn't really defined yet. Like it felt like it was still shaping. So that was really fun. I felt like I could be a part of creating it too. Yeah. And also, like we were like making screen print shirts like at this art school I was going to for a while, and I've like helped out with graphics, and we filmed. So
you were very involved in the creative side as well, not just the skating.
Yeah, and that's like what I really liked that about it. In the beginning, it was more like that. Like it was a really good like spark. I think we filmed a lot, and we had a really nice time, and we did I feel like we did a couple of trips, like a lot around Europe, just like Berlin, Budapest, Paris. And then I guess I skated for Poetic, I don't know how many years, up until 2, maybe 3 years ago now.
Okay.
Can't remember really, but I felt what I had liked about it in the beginning wasn't really there anymore. And I had like this feeling that I needed to find some change in what was happening, kind of. And I thought about it for a long time, and it was really hard to quit, actually. I didn't really know how to
announce it, or...
Yeah, or like even just talking to my friend about it, who owns it. Like I was avoiding it for a while.
Yeah,
but
it's
then,
like a breakup, kind of. It's difficult, I'm
in
sure.
a way, it's like a lighter breakup. But then I did, and it felt like that was the right decision. And it felt like I was following my feelings, like what I felt was right. And then I was without a sponsor for up until this past summer, I guess.
Oh, so quite a long time then, not like 2 years, basically.
Yeah, almost 2 years, almost at least 1.5, something like that. And it was also similar thing, like I was actually injured. I did surgery on my ankle.
Yeah, the same one?
Yeah, same ankle.
Yeah. It's your right foot, right? So it's your
Yeah.
flake ankle.
It's my flick ankle.
Well, it doesn't show in your skating, so it looks like you've done some good physical therapy.
Yeah, it's
looks
good.
good. Yeah.
I actually saw my physiotherapist today.
Oh, good. Cool.
Because I have another issue now, but it's okay. It's
Okay.
not that bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the perks of being a pro skater, I guess. Yeah. Or an
Yeah.
athlete of any sort, I guess. Yeah.
I actually saw Oski at the same place. He was there working on his knee.
Oh yeah, he's his knee, right? Okay.
So it's just a part of it.
Yeah, of course. And so you went for basically 2 years without a board sponsor.
Yeah, I think almost. Because I didn't really... I wanted something to happen naturally. Like, I didn't want to, like, just hit somebody up. And then there was the pandemic at the same time, so you didn't naturally just meet a lot of people or travel a lot. So there was this kind of strange break where not much happened at all.
Mm-hmm.
Where I did other things too, like focused on photography.
And so recently you started hanging out with the Weekend crew. So how did that connection happen? Was that through other skaters on the team, or how did it all start?
Yeah, it was... I mean, I've known Alexis for a long time, Alexis Sablon.
Right, yep.
I've known her, I mean, we've met at like contests, but also hung out through different friends in common. Almost, yeah, since 10 years back or something like that. And she was in Malmö. Yeah, she was there for the Pushing Borders conference.
Right. So in 2019, yeah.
2019, yeah. And we were just having coffee, hanging out. And then she was also there with Weekend, because they were also there, like a big part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up saying hi to them with her. And then me and her and Trevor and Andrew had coffee together.
Okay.
I can hardly remember that part, but anyways, I had like vaguely said hi to them with her.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I was still on Poetic at that time, but then I think they kind of knew. I mean, some of them. I know Trevor followed me on Instagram, and I followed him back, Trevor Thompson, and he contacted me like, because I was, yeah, it was just this past spring, and maybe it was around this time of the year actually, like maybe in May or something. I was skating different boards. I was trying out different shapes and different boards that I liked, and I think I skated. One of them was a Weekend board, maybe two of them in a row. And I did this trick. I did like a 270, like alley-oop 270 on a hip, where you can kind of see my board. And he saw that I was skating a Weekend board.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was like, "Oh,
you're on the team."
We're down to send you some boards. Like that's cool. You're skating our boards."
Okay.
And that's how it started, and I didn't really know what was going to come out of it. But Grant and Andrew came here this summer, like a couple of months after that, and skated with me and Karsten, and Jan Henrik from Norway too, and Frederick and Philip from Malmö. And that was kind of like, well, both for me and for them, I guess, like just meeting and like hanging out and seeing what it feels like.
Sure, yeah,
And,
testing the waters, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, a bit. And it felt really like natural and really good.
Yeah, it looks like a good fit. I mean, it's rad to see you with that whole crew. It's a very creative brand and it looks very fun. So, I mean, from what I know of you a little bit and of the brand, it definitely looks like a good match. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it feels really inspiring and nice. Also, like when I've been there now, I've been there twice since, and there it feels really welcoming and it's been good times. So it's nice.
Cool. And so you recently went to LA and then to Portugal, as you said when we first started. Do you have any like other travels planned with them in the near future, or?
Yeah, like basically I also went there, before that I was there for a month, like November to December. So we filmed stuff in Sweden when they were here this summer, and then we've continued filming in LA, but then I also injured my ankle in LA that first time. But now the second time we kind of came back to film some more there. Okay. So we've just been gathering footage for...
That video?
For some, I think one of them is gonna be like for us that was on this trip in Sweden, like we filmed in Malmö and Stockholm. That's gonna be some mixed montage from that and some footage from LA too. And then I'm trying to just gather footage for a part as well that's maybe has a little longer of a deadline.
Okay.
And I don't really know how that's gonna come out, if it's going to be in a video or like a shared thing or however. That I guess time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I look forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's really cool, and like Grant's really good at filming too, so it's inspiring to film with him. And I think that's basically the plan, just to try to gather more footage for that. And the trips now haven't really, like, I've had all these trips happening. That's behind me now, and now I'm kind of happy just to be in Malmö for a little bit.
Be at home for a bit, yeah.
And I know also like Copenhagen is coming up. It's going to be like the Copenhagen Open contest.
Yeah. When is that? Is that in the spring or I don't remember? May or June maybe? I'm not sure.
Yes, it's in June. I think I'm going to be here for that for sure.
Yeah.
And also like kind of work with them around it a bit too. We had a Zoom meeting to help them make it more inclusive, because they've been working with like trying to invite female skaters or non-male skaters to the contest for a couple of years, but there's a lot of things that can be improved for sure. So hopefully this year I'm a part of improving that, and
awesome.
That's pretty exciting, yeah. So I'm kind of just looking forward to people coming over here now and skating in Malmö and Copenhagen for the next 2 months, but I might go on a trip too. You never know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's kind of like when the summer is here, it's so nice to be here.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
I think I'll be here for the summer, and then when it's over, I'll maybe head over there again. But I feel like usually the patterns of traveling within skateboarding always kind of happens like, oh, you're going here in 3 weeks. Like, you never really know what's happening. So
just have to adapt, basically. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So what about photography? And recently, it seems like you're skating a lot right now. Are you still shooting a lot, or is photography kind of taking a little bit of a back seat for the time being, or how do you divide your time between both activities?
I studied photography when I was 24 in like a pre-educational program for a year in Malmö, and then I went from that to Gothenburg to university at a fine arts school.
I read somewhere that you were living out there, but I think you're back in Malmö again now, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. So you went to Gothenburg for the photography course, okay.
Yeah, no, for like a whole bachelor, so like 3 years.
Oh, it was 3 years, okay. Wow.
Yeah, and the year before that I studied 1 year for like a pre-educational art school. So I did that, and then I was really focused on photography, but actually that's kind of when, at the same time I was starting at university, I also got hooked up by Nike.
Okay.
So there was this time where I was thinking, oh, I'm just gonna, focus on photography more now. And then this whole thing with Nike starting to
send
put
you on
more
trips,
money into to female skateboarding, also like putting more work into that. That's when that happened. So I did a lot of studying then simultaneously as skating.
Yeah.
So after that, I tried to focus on, so that was 2015 to 2018. And after that, I just focused on skating. We did with a Gizmo with Nike.
The Nike video, yeah.
So we traveled for that year, and that was really like nice to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah. I just watched it again a few days ago. I saw it when it came out, but incredible skating and cool music. I don't remember which song you skate to, but it fit your skating quite well. Yeah, it was a sick video.
Yeah, it was a Broadcast. I think that was the band. But yeah, that was kind of like... So I feel like I've just been... Initially, if I wouldn't have skateboarding after that photography bachelor, I would have maybe waited a year and then done a master's. But now, since I had skateboarding happening, I kind of just wanted to do that. And then simultaneously, I've been like still doing photography. I've done some courses in Gothenburg where I've had access to my previous school. So I've had access to the dark room, which is like this color dark room where you can do prints. And so even though I wasn't studying, I still spent like a lot of hours per week in the lab, actually.
Okay.
Like the past 2 years up until about 7 months ago or something like that. And working on personal projects, but I'm working on a book which has nothing to do with skateboarding, but it's more based out of interest in photography and a different way of looking at things
Cool.
But it's a very slow process because I was shooting photos for it for 2-3 years maybe. And then, doing the whole copying process in the darkroom.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, took a long time, and then I've scanned all of them, and now I'm doing like post-processing, like I'm taking away like dust and fixing the colors a bit.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna try to like make it all make sense somehow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's
Get a kind of a theme for all of it. Yeah.
For sure, it's difficult with these long projects because you always have things that you can do in the present, like the kind of things like doing your dishes, and then you'll like, get instant reward. And
yeah.
It's the same thing with like, I have this photo job now that I can do and focus on, and then I can get paid for it, and then it's done. Like, but this is something that I'm always like, I want to work on this, but I feel like I don't have the time.
Yeah, and it's not as easy to wrap your head around it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
It's a bit undetermined. And also, it's also difficult to talk about photographs in one way when you're not looking at them, kind of. It's how what I think, at least.
Especially with people who don't know much about photography like myself. Like, if you're talking with someone who's a fellow photographer, I guess it's maybe easier, but... to a random person like me, it's probably a bit more difficult to, without having the photograph to kind of explain and describe.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe. But a big part of it is there's also a lot of abstraction in there, and a lot of experiments as well. But I'm looking forward to being able to present it someday.
Yeah. Do you have kind of a deadline, or is that kind of floating in the air sort of right now?
Yeah, I have kind of like a mental deadline to get it done within like 2 months, to get the actual putting it together in like an InDesign file. But then there's the whole other part about choosing paper and deciding size, and that can take quite a while. So
yeah.
And also trying to decide if you want to have it, just want to make it yourself and pay for the cost yourself, so you can have the freedom of deciding everything yourself, or if you want to apply for someone else helping you, but then obviously having a lot of things to say about it. And so there's still a lot of things to do. But for now, I'm constantly shooting photos for sure, and just with skating too. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to learn how to shoot skate photos more, and trying to start using how to work with flashes in that way. And then I take photos during trips. Like I usually, if I'm too tired to skate one day or completely busted, I'll just go for a walk and kind of wander around and maybe find something interesting.
Yeah, I look forward to that book. That sounds like an exciting project, yeah.
Yeah, excited. Now it's nice because I've been able to also combine, like we just did this shoot in Barcelona with Nike and Polaroid.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, yeah.
Yeah, well, Nike knows that I'm a photographer also, so they had me in mind for this project because it was with Polaroid. And I was really excited when they asked me, because I felt like I was
combining your both worlds, yeah.
Exactly. So that was really cool. They asked me if I wanted to kind of shoot the campaign. So I was taking photographs of Brian for the campaign also. But then at the same time, they were also shooting the campaign. Like there was this whole meta thing going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really excited, and also a bit like I felt a bit of some pressure to deliver for sure.
Yeah, I understand.
It's a big thing, but the day after that was more mellow though. We had a workshop. Also, they made a video out of that too. Kind of came out.
I saw that just a few days ago. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that was like a workshop where we had invited a group of people that also got skaters that got Polaroid cameras, and we kind of went out together and shot photos together and skated. And that was a really super fun time. It's always, of course, nice meeting people and trying out things like that together.
Yeah.
That was a good part of it. And it was really nice hanging out with Brian too. He's a really lovely person.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if did you meet him before this trip to Barcelona? Did you cross paths with him before?
Yes, I'd met him on a trip to New York when I was first on Nike, like when I was pretty new. They released this women's Bruin shoe.
Okay.
And that campaign they shot was shot in New York. And he was one of the skaters, as well as I.
Okay.
And I remember I had a really good impression of him. But that was also pretty short, like only 3 days, I think, pretty intense. So it wasn't like we were on a long trip together.
Yeah, I see.
You just get the feeling of someone, kind of.
Sure.
And then I met him in Tampa a couple of years ago. Also similar thing, though, quite briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And then this shoot. So I knew him a little bit, but this was more... We actually had some time to hang out, and like we woke up early in the mornings to go to Makba and check it out, and like had some good breakfast talks. It's good.
Yeah, sick. I might be mistaken, but I think I saw a story from one of the guys at Skatism who filmed you and Brian working together on this whole project. I'm not sure if that was in Barcelona, or did you go to Athens maybe before or after that? Or I wasn't sure how Skatism got involved in all this.
No, they were in Barcelona, yeah. They came...
For that workshop you mentioned?
Yeah, they came for the workshop, and then they interviewed us after the workshop.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
And then we also had another Zoom interview with them after, because we needed more time.
Okay. So there's an interview of both you and Brian coming out in a next issue of Skatism then?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be online or in print, I'm not sure. But yeah, something from them for sure.
Awesome. Just one question that I try to finish my interviews with is what's kind of the best lesson that you feel like you've learned from skateboarding throughout your life? Just, something that you feel is a valuable lesson that you learned from skateboarding, whether it's actually from the act of skateboarding or from, something related to it.
Yeah, there's so many, because it's applicable to, skateboarding is applicable to life in general too. I think it's really nice that you can always come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
That there's you can kind of go away for a while, and then it'll be there pretty much the same as when you come back to it. By that I mean the community of it too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's that much of a lesson, but it's something I thought about, how strong that is. It's really special.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you basically.
No, I don't think the same thing would happen with like
another sport,
soccer, or So I would say that's a big part. Otherwise, like the classic thing I feel like to say is like that you make mistakes.
Yeah, you don't give up, and
you know. But I feel like that's probably already been said a lot of times. So
yeah.
But yeah.
The community aspect of it then is something you appreciate.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot.
All right, so let's finish with the questions. I have a few written ones and some are audio. I'll read you the written ones first. This one is from Mark Simmers from Skatism.
Okay.
What was your favorite moment from, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but Aphrodite tour? I'm not sure how you say that in English. Aphrodite.
Yes, it says like you said it right, yeah.
Okay. I think that was a tour that you went on a few years ago, right? Was it for Skatism?
Yeah, it was with Nike and Skatism.
Right, okay.
Nike SB and Skatism. Yeah, that was really nice. Greece is such a beautiful country.
Mm-hmm.
We also didn't just stay in Athens. We went to some other places further north too. I think my favorite part of that trip was when we drove really far up onto this mountain that had some kind of, Greek god. I can't remember who. Maybe it was Zeus,
Okay.
Or maybe it was actually Aphrodite, but there was some story about the goddesses or the gods up there. And we drove up there, and they were telling us the stories all during these trips. They were so good at just sharing their Greek history and their stories. And we skated downhill on that mountain, and we're just doing power slides and going up and down. And that was just a really nice evening. I love that part of skate trips when we actually do something other than skating too.
Yeah.
Like
learn about a city. And...
Yeah, or like when you let's go to check this place out for a day,
Sure.
So yeah, that was really nice.
Cool. All right, so this one is from, I'm going to butcher his name, but it's Stefan Schwinghammer from Solo Skate Mag. So he said, I'd be interested in knowing if Sarah took something with her from that project. He mentions the solo issue that she worked on a few years ago with him and all the team over there.
Yeah.
So he says, I'd be interested in knowing if Sarah took something with her from that project that sparked her creativity or gave her a new view on things. And maybe if she would do the same issue again nowadays, or if her view on skateboarding has changed and she would do it totally differently.
Interesting. Yeah, doing that project was really a learning experience. Well, I was asked to be the guest editor of a whole magazine. They obviously helped me a lot, but I was like choosing what was going to be inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it was really exciting to be able to kind of handpick who I thought was inspiring and who I thought should be in print that I haven't seen before in print and go at it in that kind of way. I also learned that it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was definitely a lot of contacts, just trying to like hit people up and like hit them back up and like asking how it's going and did you get this photo or not, like that was like
a difficult process a bit.
Yeah, like the process of it that I don't like to be like, you know, nagging on people.
Yeah,
you know? So that was a negative part of it. But then actually getting to where you get the content was really cool.
Yeah, and, satisfying.
Yeah, you can see that it triggers people to do something and it gets them inspired and gets them getting creative. And I think the question of if I would do the same issue again, like I think that since I did that maybe now like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I think it was in 2018. I'm not sure.
4 years ago. I definitely think it would be a little different just because, not because that my vision of it has changed, more because that the scene has changed. I think it's a little more normalized now that you would make an issue like that.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think it would be maybe in a way easier to do it. And I think I would do something similar, but probably a little different.
Okay. So this one is for, I'm going to keep butchering names. I'm so sorry for the people that send me those questions. So this is Peter Johansson. So he says, do you ever get stuck on one song? And if yes, which one are you stuck on right now?
Well,
it's kind of a random one, but yeah. Do you have one song on repeat right now?
I always get stuck on songs for sure. Right now, the one that comes to my mind directly, because I think I'm kind of over that song now in a way, but I had it stuck on my mind like a year ago. And I would almost be a little bit embarrassed by listening to it because it's a little cheesy too, but also really like groovy. And it's this one song called, it's by Gary Rafferty. It's called Right Down the Line. And it's kind of like, I mean, it's like a rock song, but it's kind of like groovy. I guess it's made maybe in the, I would guess 80s maybe, maybe 70s, not sure.
Okay.
But that one was definitely on my mind a lot. And then I've been watching this series, as a lot of people have been watching now, called Euphoria.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And in the second season now, they actually use that song. Like, they use it in this butchering scene, which is insane. Kind of, they're actually not slaughtering people, but they're tying them up and like threatening them. It's like this gangsters about a drug deal, and then one guy goes around dancing to this song with like a gun in his hand.
Oh, okay. And, that reminds me of what's that movie? Reservoir Dogs. Did you see that one?
Yeah, but I can't really remember.
There's a scene in there with a guy who dances with a knife and then he cuts a guy's ear.
Ah, yeah. That sounds very similar to this.
Yeah,
maybe
it reminds me of
could
that.
Be a reference for sure.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So yeah, anyways, so that song was in Euphoria then, okay.
Yeah, they used it. And then they also used it in like an episode later because one of the main character who was in that room when it happened, she then started listening to that song, which is kind of insane. But yeah, they used it in a really good way.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out.
But now I feel like it's been like almost overplayed now. So, but that was my last one like that for sure.
All right, so I asked Grant Jansura for a question. He didn't really actually send me a question. He just said some random things about you, all good things, but it's all good. But I don't really have a question. But he just says a couple of things that I thought would be interesting to hear you talk about. He said, Sarah remembers being in NYC when Trump was elected. Everyone was walking around very upset.
That's random.
It's pretty random, yeah. But I remember very vividly that night in 2016. So yeah, I was wondering how was it being in NYC at that time? It must have been a strange,
I guess
strange feeling. Yeah.
We spoke about. I think we had that conversation, like a few of us, like talking about like what did you do that day? Do you remember? Yeah. So yeah, I was in New York. I'd been on a skate thing in Encinitas, like a trip to LA, and then that was just a short like contest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided I want to go to New York because I hadn't been there in quite a while, and I really like going there, just going to museums and walking around the city too.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the opportunity to, on my way back, to stay in New York for like a week.
Okay.
And that happened to be the election week. And I remember like the day leading up to it, it was really, really tense. Like the vibe was like you could touch it. And then after he got elected, people were apologizing, like, I'm sorry, I'm American.
Yeah, they felt embarrassed, kind of, I guess. Especially in New York, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then I was there alone. I was just like staying at a friend's of a friend. So I was kind of just walking around. And then I followed along to this demonstration that led up to the Trump Tower. It was like a walk all over this, all across the city, up from like a certain street up to where the tower was.
Right, yeah.
And it was just like really intense. But I remember I was walking up the street, and then all of a sudden on like the sidewalk stands Michael Moore stands there.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like preaching about the way he does it.
Yeah.
And people were filming him, and like so I just stopped and listened to him for a while, and then I continued.
Yeah.
Just felt like I was in a movie. But yeah, that was very experiencing it firsthand, I feel like.
Must have been
but it was also
very strange,
a really sad day, of course.
Yeah. Hey everyone, quick side note here. Grant Jansura from Weekend eventually sent me the following voice memo with another question for Sarah, but after I was done interviewing her. But Sarah kindly accepted to record a quick response to his questions, so here they are.
Alright, I got a question for you. We're in a baseball game. There's a runner on first. There's one out. The batter hits the ball, pop fly in the air to left field. What does the runner do?
Thank you for the question, Grant. I would say if there's one out, then you don't necessarily need to run. Because if there were two outs, then you would have to run. Because otherwise, if they catch the ball, they're going to catch the ball. Pretty much. Okay. They're going to catch the ball, probably, because it's in the air and it's on the left side. And because of that, it's better to stay because you're only one out. So it's a better chance for you to wait till the next person. So that means you're going to be two out. But then the next person who's going to hit the ball might get a better shot, and it might be better for you to run at that time to second, and then that person can run to first or even further rather than running at this time. Having said that, I have no idea, but I think so.
All right, so I'll have you listen to the last questions. Let's see.
What's the first word you ever said? And if you don't know it, ask your mom.
Super random again. Did you recognize the voice or?
That was Luisa.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I guess you must have seen her in Barcelona.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The first word I said. I don't think I have time to ask my mom now, but
should we call her right now? Or
a good guess though would be mom.
Yeah, obviously.
I feel like that usually happens. But I haven't actually heard like, oh, the first word you said was this.
Okay, you haven't had that conversation.
So
yeah.
No, also I was the third child, so I don't know if they even paid that much attention.
Yeah, it's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, like, oh, we probably heard, kids.
Yeah, we've
learning
been
how to
through this
speak.
before, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this one...
Yo, Sarah, Osh here. We travelled together to Athens for the Aphrodite tour with Nike SB. You've been on tons of trips in your life, but what's your favourite, aside from the one we were on together, of course? And what has travel given you in terms of a fresh perspective? How has it switched up the way you look at skateboarding as a whole? Cheers, mate.
Yeah, good question. So my first question, my favorite destination, kind of?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should answer this with skating or not skating.
Whatever you want, yeah. Both work.
I mean, I've traveled a lot to Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
That's a place I came because I had a friend that I met when I was 18, 19 in Barcelona, who's Canadian. She's from Vancouver.
Okay.
And I went there to visit her when I was like 20. And I stayed for 6 months. Like I worked there. Like,
Oh, nice.
I got really hooked. And I also had some connection there because my grandma was actually from there. And I just really loved it because it's a city that it's by the ocean, but it also has these beautiful mountains surrounding it and huge trees and a fun city and a good skate scene too.
Yeah.
The local skate shop there and the social is...
Yeah, Rick McCrank's skate shop, yeah.
Yeah, Rick McCrank and then Michelle Purcell.
Right, the other
she
owner,
was like,
right?
it was, yeah, it was like really cool coming from here, and hadn't seen it yet any other place where it was like there's actually a woman working at the skate shop where everyone goes to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really special place, and I think I've been back there maybe 5 times since, maybe even more. I try to go if I'm on that side of the world.
On the west coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've never been, but it looks like a super nice place for sure, yeah.
Yeah, super good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for skating, I wouldn't say it's great because it's actually like the city where they invented skate stoppers.
Oh, okay.
So they have a lot of skate stoppers. Yeah, I heard the story. It's a guy who I think he was a skater, and then I don't know if something happened to him so he couldn't skate or something, but he was like an industrial designer, I guess, and he invented these skate stoppers.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So there's a lot of copped places, yeah. So like really a traitor.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of skaters there anyway, and you can always find things to skate. But then the other question, what was it now?
It
What
was,
I've learned?
basically what you've learned from traveling and skating throughout the years, yeah.
Oh yeah, like how has it affected my view on skateboarding?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
I think I've learned how, at an early age too, like I learned how different it is, like where I come from and how it can be in different cultures. Also, like I realized, like, I mean, Sweden is pretty far ahead in like equality, and like there's always been the feeling of there's kind of like a safe space here, like there's a lot of peers, like when I started traveling, I realized it's not really like that everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like some places for sure have it. And I think it's changed now a lot too. Like, I mean, I'm comparing like 10 years ago and to today.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely feel like being more looked at if you were at a skate park, or being approached to in a total different way than I would be back here, because they could see like, oh, she's different. And people aren't really that shy in other cultures neither.
Yeah.
So they would like say things, or I mean, not necessarily bad things, but just like really recognizing that you're different from the usual crowd. So I really like appreciated what we had in Malmö actually.
Mm-hmm.
Through traveling. But then I've also traveling has been like a way of expanding and also meeting more people that are like me. Like that's been really cool to see, like, oh, you're from this part of the world, but we're so similar because we have this and that, and you know.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of why I like traveling too.
Yeah. All right. So 2 last questions. Let's go with this one.
Wow, a question for Sarah Meurle, the girl from Blentarp. I've seen Sarah through so many phases, and first of all, I can only say I'm so damn proud of everything you have done, Sarah. From your first shop sponsors to becoming pro, through travels, through breakups, through Gizmo, through graduating not only from Bryggeriet, but also through your photography class. You've been an editor. you are very multidimensional, and as a friend, I've been stoked to be on a journey next to you and see everything that you've been through. But I'm really curious to see and hear what's next for Sarah Meurle. You know, for someone that I, from the outside, think have done it all, I would love to hear what's next. I guess that's my question.
He's the best.
Daniel
Such a
Stankovic.
nice guy. Yeah, such a guy. He's like a brother to me, really. It's so nice. But what's next?
You kind of touched on it a little bit.
I kind of told you, like, I mean, I'm working on a part, I'm working on a book, but I'm also excited, like, because I've been, like, I guess the past year now I made a move. I moved from Gothenburg to Malmö.
It was this last year? Okay.
Yeah, it's been like a big change, and now I'm kind of like landing here again. So it's kind of like a new chapter in life for me.
Yeah.
Also, even though I'm moving back to where I'm from.
But with a different perspective, and
with a whole different perspective for sure. So just that is obviously new, but I think through having this here now that I'm here, it's easier for me to do these things that I want to do, and like focusing on creating things and also skating, and having like my home, my place now where I can have, like, I have a workspace in here, but I also have like friends living really close by that I can go skate with. And so I think my next move, I mean, actually tomorrow I'm going to Gothenburg to shoot photos as a photographer for like drum machine brand.
Okay.
So that's like completely outside of skateboarding, which is really exciting for me because I'm like, usually that's how I get approached. So I'm hoping to do more work like that.
Yeah.
And then also trying to keep track of my artistic side and trying to give some more space to that by working on this book. And I think together with the book, I want to do an exhibition too.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And then, skate a lot, get a part together.
Stack some clips, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, very, very last question from another Malmö friend of yours.
Hey, Sarah. It's John here, former teacher, current fan. One thing that I always thought about was your ability to be productive and structured, and that your focus has shifted a lot of times between photography, education, and skateboarding. And I wonder what has kept you motivated to do so many things, and have they ever come in the way for each other? Thank you. Looking forward to hearing your interview. Bye.
Nice. Yeah, I think we touched upon it already a bit, but maybe, I mean, it also comes hand in hand, like when you're injured, all of a sudden skateboarding's not that fun.
Yeah.
So then it's more fun to focus on something else. Like, it can be less productive things too, but I've had this interest in photography. Also, I think that's also just like part of having a need to express myself in a different way.
Yeah.
And that I remember having this strong urge to be something else than a skateboarder too. That's when I started studying and started going to art school. Was almost a bit like therapeutic as well. Like, you have other things in life that happens to you, and you kind of, that was also a way of like addressing other parts. But I think seeing other people do things is always inspiring. And having time for it, I mean, I've been very privileged to have time to actually now for the past couple of years, like, actually live off of skateboarding.
Yeah.
But also focus. I mean, you have a lot of time as a skateboarder, actually. I feel like a lot of skaters have the time to do other projects on the side.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? That's why there are all of these, like, you know, you can start a brand, or you can open up a skate shop, or whatever you do. But I feel like that side thing has been for me photography. But yes, I think it shifts. What you need in life shifts, and what you're inspired by shifts.
John mentions education. Did he mean as in when you're going to Bryggeriets as a former student, or what kind of education are you involved in nowadays?
Maybe he meant that I studied photography, I guess.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
It could be. Because, that was... I mean, I could have been a photographer without studying it.
Sure.
but this was a way to like deep dive into something that I was really interested in. And also like, yeah, being in the academic world, it was quite different, like different way, different language, different kind of ways to, I mean, art school was still very non-academic in some ways too, like a bit more freer, but I think it's fun to learn new things, especially learning new things about things you're already interested in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah, expanding your view a bit. And I think it just comes, if you listen to yourself, like it kind of comes to you when you're ready for it. Like, I think I kind of need to this now, or I need some kind of a change.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was perfect. We can wrap it up here. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing this.
That's it for my conversation with Sarah. Follow Sarah's skating on Instagram at @smeurle_, her photography work at Sarah Meurle, and on her website sarahmeurle.com. Meurle is spelled Meurle. While you're at it, go watch some of her skate parts, like the Nike SB Gizmo one from 2019, and keep an eye open for her upcoming projects. Thanks a lot for tuning in. See you soon for a new episode of Beyond Boards.